His name's Jumpy, and we're Player versus Everything. Also, this is the fourth time doing this. Also, this is episode 19, our anniversary episode. And happy belated anniversary to us, I believe.
I can't believe you forgot. I can't believe you forgot. It's usually the husband who forgets, but I remembered. You forgot.
Right? You remembered and didn't tell me until 2 days later.
I was testing you. I was just testing you.
You know, I came into this relationship late. All right? Can't blame me for this. You are not going to hold me accountable.
Don't always play the victim. You can't always play the victim.
I will play the victim when I so fucking please. Anyways, this is a different episode than we usually do.
Oh, was I supposed to come in with something there?
I expected it. I guess
we're off, man. That last episode we did together, we could give each other like visual cues.
Oh,
now we're doing this over the internet again, and it's just like, yeah, Jay will look at me,
like the death stare from the clicking of the pen.
Yeah, Jay has a very terrible habit of clicking a pen when he's doing anything. So just throughout the entire recording goes click, 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 click. God damn it.
Yeah, it
God damn it.
But, I mean, this episode is a little different. I mean, we don't usually go in on TV shows, like specifically just mainly on TV shows. But I guess we've been suffering withdrawal from Game of Thrones, and we needed something to hold us over. And something's doing the trick for now, at least, right?
Oh yeah, we got 2 shows to fill the void. 1, Westworld. 2, Atlanta. Both of them are dope. If you haven't checked them out, please do so before people start spoiling them for you. They're best if taken without anyone else's opinion.
Yeah, I'd agree. I would definitely agree. I mean, thing is, if you like Atlanta, if you like Donald Glover's like humor, then you'll love Atlanta. Like, the guy just really pulls it off. Like, every time he does a thing, I love that thing.
Even his music?
I don't listen to his music. I don't listen to Childish Gambino.
Gambino. Childish Gambino.
Don't listen to it. Don't know anything about it.
Get it right. Jeez, you call
yourself a fan. How am I gonna get it right? I don't even know who his other persona is. No, it's irrelevant to me. I mean, I just like everything else he's in.
I guess we'll just get started with Atlanta then.
Going to be in.
We starting this off with Atlanta then versus Westworld?
Yeah. We'll start off with the appetizer.
All right. Ooh, appetizer. I don't know, man. It's a pretty heavy appetizer.
I mean, it is, but it's in little 30-minute increments, so.
It's true. You know, it's crazy. There's only 10 episodes, and we're already through 8.
Honestly, there's only 2. When I first saw the advertisements and all that for that show, it felt to me like a kind of like a network, like a HBO, Showtime, Stars show, like something about.
Really?
It. Yeah. I thought that for a long time, and then when I downloaded it, I was like, damn, it's only 30 minutes. Oh, it's on FX. Okay. And then I just blew through them.
Yeah, it's odd because sometimes they feel really short, like a little too short, and I kind of wish they were a little bit longer, like at least an hour, just to get a little bit more story. But it's still good, like it still delivers. I know a lot of people on Nike Talk, shout out to them, feel very strongly about how this show really does kind of push the envelope when it comes to talking about certain subject areas that may or may not be desirable for most people. Like it's not truly representative of Atlanta per se. Trust me, you'll talk to enough people from Atlanta and be like, oh, there's not Atlanta, blah, 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 whatever. But it does portray a different side of just, I guess, that city. Something that necessarily may not resonate one-to-one with everyone who lives there, but it does resonate with, I personally think it resonates with minorities in general. I mean, there's a couple of things there that when I watch, I'm like, yeah, my white friends aren't going to get that.
As far as when people see a title, Atlanta, right? Like, things come to their minds where they assume like, oh, it's Donald Glover in a show with like 2 other black friends, and they're in Atlanta. This is gonna feel kind of excluding people, like from them not understanding. But I don't feel like the show does that at all. I don't feel like it's so much about it being in Atlanta. I haven't gotten the feeling where the Atlanta setting has played that much of a part in the plot itself.
I agree with you, and I think that's been the complaint of some people. Some people were expecting a not a real portrayal of the city of Atlanta, but something that would resonate with people from Atlanta. But
Mm,
then there's the counter argument of usually when you see a city be referenced in any type of film, TV show, they really don't ever shoot in that actual city. They shoot somewhere else. Like how many times have they said, "Oh, we're in New York"? No, they're not. They're
no,
like
they're
in
not.
some other metropolitan city.
They're in
So
Canada.
yeah,
Yeah,
like Toronto, right, or some
yeah,
shit
yeah,
like
yeah.
that. So no, I think they may have kind of missed the mark in terms of capturing people who were looking for that. But
Right.
for me, I think this show speaks more to just the idea that it's a pretty much a black show, which is awesome. It doesn't seem whitewashed, and it's not that it's exclusively for blacks. It's
It
that
doesn't feel that way, and I'm glad it doesn't. You know what I mean?
what that
Like
it's exclusively for blacks, or
that it
that
doesn't feel like it's exclusive to a certain like ethnicity. You know what
well,
I
it's
mean?
relatable to everyone, but there are certain messages that
That are
really
more
resonate.
relatable to yes,
Yeah,
absolutely,
yeah,
absolutely.
it's absolutely hilarious. So you're right in that what you said earlier in that Donald Glover he's a very talented guy. Like, I mean, for anyone who's really followed his career, I mean, from a writer on 30 Rock, when he did Derek Comedy as a kid,
Yep,
fuck, what else? Community. I mean, he's done a lot of stuff. So if you've liked his current catalog, this pretty much falls within that ballpark. But
yep.
it just takes it that one step further.
See,
Um,
and Donald Glover, he's what grounds the show. Because if it weren't for him being there, people be like, "Oh man, I can't relate to this at all." But Donald Glover plays that role, that neutral role, where he feels like the outsider in some of the situations. You know what I mean?
yes and no. I think Paperboy is kind of relatable.
Paperboy and the other dude, Paperboy's relatable. What's Donald Glover's name in the show? It's something
Earn,
doofusy. Ern, yeah,
earn,
Ernest.
Ernest,
Doofusy.
and then oh man,
The
the
skinny dude gets me. He's hilarious,
Darius,
man.
Is
Is it Darius?
I
He's
think it's Darius.
hysterical, man.
He's fucking hilarious. I still love the first scene where Earn shows up to not the first scene, but one of the first scenes you see the interaction between Earn and Darius. He walks in and he's got a knife with a jar with a plate of cookies, and
And
then
he's wearing an apron. He's the
he's wearing an
housewife,
apron.
bro. He's the housewife.
And then he's like, oh, he's not a threat. All right, takes off the was it the handkerchief he had on his face? Cookie. I was
Yep,
like, this guy's gonna be great. It's gonna be
yep,
fucking
yep.
great. I mean, they all play a role. They all play an interesting role. But I guess maybe we should give people some background on just who these people are, just in case they haven't watched the show, right?
Sure.
So the show revolves, for the most part, around three really reoccurring characters, right? There's Earn, who's the Princeton dropout who pretty much has a kid and a baby mama he lives with,
Yep.
but they're not together and they date other people, which is kind of weird. It's a very
Um,
weird,
it sums up a lot of real relationships in 2016, man.
real talk though. So that's I
Yeah.
mean that's kind of one of those things, right? Where I mean let's let's kind of be honest. I don't know how often white people and I'm not trying to pull race into this, but deal with scenarios like that. But I know a lot of like Hispanics and
Oh
and just
yeah.
black people who are either in that situation because fiscally and financially it's the best thing for like a child, even though the couple themselves may not be you know in love with each other, but they'll do that for the kid or what have you.
Right, right.
um
But all in all, it's still, even though I've seen them argue and all that on this show, it's still too civil for one of those relationships.
you're
As
right
far
though
as I
you're
know
right
it. You
though
know what I mean?
You're right though. That it is too
Yeah.
simple. I don't think no guy would ever be like, "Oh, you're going on a date tonight with another dude? That's great." Ooh,
But that's how
no.
Donald Glover's persona would act. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
That's
yeah.
how his TV person would act. Absolutely. Like that's what I expect him to act like, which is perfect. He knows exactly what we're expecting from him. So
Then there's Paperboy, who essentially is a rapper based out of Atlanta. Um,
who
really
doesn't
early in
have
his
a
career.
mean streak or a really bad record of any sort. He's not like a terrible guy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, other than the whole potential murder thing that we still haven't resolved yet, technically.
No, no.
Who knows?
Bullets, stuff,
Bullets, it happens.
guns.
People get
Yeah,
shot all the time.
yeah.
Um, no, but seriously, he's an interesting character. I think. Fun fact: did you know he's a Yale graduate?
That he's a
The
what
actor,
graduate?
Yale.
A Yale graduate, is he?
Yeah, yeah, he's a Yale graduate, and he was like I think I told you a few days ago.
Book of
He was in
Mormon.
the original cast of the Book of Mormon,
Yeah,
which is
yeah.
fucking dope.
Awesome.
But yeah, his
God,
character
I
is
love that
interesting.
show.
God, that was so fucking good. His character is really interesting in that it's pretty much at a certain point it's the really token gangster thug rapper character that you kind of expect to see, but then I'm here about to get my money, smoke weed, I'm trying to grind all this stuff, but then as you start peeling the layers, he's a really interesting character because he's much smarter than what people would portray or perceive a thug rapper to be. Like he's a very intelligent person, and I
Yeah,
like the fact that they took someone who's in typically a position of just being a thug, right, quote unquote, like by society standards, and just showed that what, no, this is just a guy who's in kind of a shitty life situation, and it's he's taking this as a means to almost not exploit the situation he's in, because it was kind of like with that one Instagram guy, right, the one who they couldn't tell whose race he was. I forget what episode that was in, but
oh my God, yeah, the little Asian, Dominican, Chinese
yeah,
type
whatever
of
he
words
was,
to
right?
it.
They didn't know. He pretty much called them out on it, and I think it was a very accurate observation in that he's taking a situation that's really shitty and he's making something out of it, whether it's his music.
Yeah,
So I like his character a lot. He's very relatable in the sense that there are a lot of people who kind of go through life in an unfavorable position and then
sure.
use that as a means to get to kind of get out or move forward.
Hmm. Oh, Asian Dominican dude's name was Zan.
Yes, Zan.
Zan, I think that was like 6 or 7 because it was before the club episode, which was the last one that I saw, and I think that was 8.
Yeah, that was 8. 7
Right.
was ban. The I forgot what that stood for. Black something network.
Oh, what about the dude that worked at the radio station and he he had the audacity to tell uh, Ern about the situation with the DJ where he was like, "Yo," and I was telling him this, and he was playing this Flow Rider, and he was like, "Yo, nigga, word or nigga, really?" And then he wouldn't say it in front of
Paperboy.
Paperboy and
Yeah.
Darius.
Is it Darius though? Let's look
It,
it up before we keep
oh,
going
it
forward.
is. No, it
Is
is.
Darius? Okay. Okay.
I was doing that. Yeah.
So then the third like reoccurring character is Darius, and Darius he's he's got layers. There's layers to this guy
Yo,
because
Darius is he's a philosophizer. Okay,
philosophizer.
he's a philosophizer. All right, and I don't think he's high half of the time he's talking, bro.
Now in every group of friends. There's always like that one dude who may not necessarily be the brightest guy in the world at times, but he has just a lot of just random like valuable
He
knowledge
thinks
or
outside
has
the
really good
box, man.
yeah, he's just a different
Yeah,
character. He's like
yeah.
he's a fucking square peg in a circle world, right? Like he's odd.
That's exactly.
Um
He's an oddity.
he is an oddity, but there's so much knowledge that kind of comes with it, right? It's like that one episode where Ern goes to the pawn shop and
Word.
wants to trade in his phone, right? And he pretty much tells him, "Look, do you need more money?" He's like, "Yeah." Ern responds that, "Yes, I want more money." And he goes, you watch the entire episode going through this elaborate, just process where he's just, using his connections and essentially making deals, making trades, and then ultimately ends up creating this investment for Ern off this one phone that's gonna pay out, like was it $2,000,
Yeah.
like
Oh, for every
sometime in the
puff.
future.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he was, he's capable of like doing a lot with nothing.
Oh yeah,
But
that was
then,
a chain link of thoughts that he was having when he was looking at his sword. You know what I mean?
oh
He
yeah,
was like,
no,
"Oh, I'm
I
gonna
think,
hook this dude up."
mhm. Well, it's one of those things where it's like, you ever met a person who doesn't have the best formal education, but they're kind of street smart, right? Or
Yeah,
they know a lot about they know how to, they excel at one thing very well. And I think that's what Darius is, I think, has profound knowledge in certain areas. He's not this, like I say, he's not the brightest cat in everything, but like if you, like, give him something, there's certain things he can kind of run with. And that episode, I think, really showed a lot about his true nature.
yeah.
He's also
Everybody
very
has their
literal.
values, and his are just starting to show now. You know what I mean? And I think it's not even what he was doing throughout the show that showed his value, but at the end when he was like, just take my phone and trade it, and we're friends now. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's where his value lies.
He's more
He's
than just
loyal.
comic relief. Yeah,
He's
he's more than
loyal.
just. Yeah,
Oh
he's
yeah.
definitely loyal. Oh yeah, like loyalty isn't always defined by just what are you doing for me now. It's looking out
Right.
for people. It's making it's he recognized that maybe Ern didn't understand him properly, and from that he says, okay, you know what, I put this guy in a less favorable position for his kids. Here, take my phone. Even though, I mean, technically he was going to get rid of it because
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
gets
One
he's
every month to
once
keep
every
the
month to make
boys
sure
off
that
his ass.
yeah, right. No, I think he's going to be a really good character, and I'm really glad that again he's not falling in. He doesn't fall into one of these stereotypical, you know, character types in every show. He's not just the he's not the Urkel, right?
Right,
He's
right.
not he's not there just to make you laugh and that's it. Like, oh, dance, it's
Dance Monkey Dance. Yeah.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
not that. It's look, this guy may be dumb at times, but he has his redeeming qualities, just like a lot of people.
Sure. Sure. Yeah. They got to make him stand out sooner or later. And I mean, especially in a show, people's attention span isn't that like good to hold off on character development like that. So it is what it is. I mean, the show, all in all, like the characters I get, and I know what their roles are in the show. But honestly, I don't know what the show is really about yet because it has its undertones. Like when you peel back the layers, it has some serious undertones. And another thing is, what is up with the dude on the bus and the Nutella? That is one of the mysteries of the show that I want solved more than finding out who shot who in the first episode.
It's uh, it's interesting, right? Because you're right. There's definitely lots of layers. There's one overarching story, right? And
Right.
that's Paperboy and his crew. They're trying to get paid,
Hmm.
right? And it's the idea of we're broke, we're poor. It's Donald Glover Earn had this really great quote in that episode we were just talking about with Darius and the investment, where he pretty much says that poor people are too busy being poor. Like it's just like we're stuck in this vicious cycle, and it's what do you what do you want, right? Like I don't got time for all these other things. I'm just poor,
Right.
right? And that's obviously an important kind of that's kind of the skeleton or the backbone of the entire show in that they're looking to try it's kind of they want to be this whole rags to riches thing. We were poor, we want to make it big time. But every episode exists in its own vacuum. There's some things that tie into each other, but you could really take every episode with just on its own, and you could fully digest it.
Yeah.
You're right, there isn't one overarching story, but I feel like certain things will tie in other seasons. It's almost like, did you ever watch Arrested Development?
Yeah. I watched a bit of it. I wasn't as into it as a lot of people were, but I get
That's unfortunate, but
it.
there are certain things in like season 1 that showed up in later seasons, and it's that type. I think that's the type of scenario we're gonna find ourselves in, where a lot of these things hopefully will have some answers in season 2, and I guarantee you, with that guy in the sandwich, you'll never get an answer.
Oh yeah. Oh
You
yeah,
never
yeah, yeah.
will.
Not a
It's just one of
real
those
one,
things.
at least.
No,
Yeah.
it's just one of those things where it just kind of, just like it just disappears. What I'm most interested in, who's the guy who was looking for Paperboy during the Zane episode?
Oh man, I assumed because here's the thing, I don't want to read too much into this show because I feel like when I start getting into a show, I start ruining it for myself by like speculating and making it bigger than it really is in my head.
Hmm.
And I don't feel like I there are shows I want to do this with, and there are shows I do this with, and I enjoy it more. But shows like this, I want to take them at face value for the most part. You know what I mean? And I just feel as though that guy was one of the, homeboy who got shot in the first episode or whatever hell happened to him because we don't know yet. I thought it was one of his boys. I thought that's what that was.
It could be
So,
that. I mean, but also we're talking about a show that had in the last episode an invisible car drive over people.
sure, sure, no, yeah,
So
I got you.
there's more to than just it's not it's loosely based in reality. Let's put it that way.
Yeah,
And on top of that, if you look at Donald Glover's musical career, which like obviously you're not very familiar with, uh, he he has a lot of content that goes much further than whatever is at face or whatever's on the surface.
sure.
Um,
And I mean, he said himself about this show. He said that this show Atlanta would be like Twin Peaks for rappers. And I don't remember Twin Peaks too well. Twin Peaks was a long time ago,
I
but
never watched it.
Twin Peaks was like a murder thriller type of deal where things weren't as they actually seemed that they were. So, I mean, with that being said, I know there's deeper things to it, but I kind of like enjoy the laughs that I get watching that show and kind of like brush all the crazy things aside because I'm like, damn, this is gonna mean something later. Let me just keep that in the back of my mind, not burn a hole in my head with it though. It's I'm excited though. I know how Donald Glover like acts and all that, and it's all with undertones. Like there's all these like messages, and I don't know. I'm excited to see what happens next. How many episodes are left, by the way?
Two. There's a total of 10 in this season. And it's already been
No,
renewed
it,
for another one.
it feels like it went by so fast though.
It did. It did. Each episode, though, I'll say, is a weird little kind
Mini
of
series on its own. Like,
not a mini. Well, I wouldn't say
well,
that. I was
it
gonna take
has a
out.
beginning and an end, and it could be left at that.
Well,
It doesn't
yeah.
feel like there's a continuation that has to happen.
No, I agree. I think I made that point earlier. Each one kind of you can digest on its own. But
Right.
what I was actually gonna say was each one seems to be almost like a self reflection of just black culture, or what's perceived to be black culture, or what's perceived to be certain. Not, I guess not everything is all about black culture in this episode, in this show, but a lot of
Right.
it tends to be more related to that. Like take the last episode about going to the club. It's really just a parody of what going to the club is.
Sure. Okay.
If you look, I mean, it is what it is, but it's interesting because it's being very critical of it, right? You're talking about promoters who are shifty, check. We're talking about VIP really not meaning anything. You're not that special because you're in VIP. When you have Darius running away, kind of backing away, saying this is meaningless,
Right.
and just kind of disappearing.
And you got Ern being that guy who doesn't want to be at the club, but he's at the club for some reason.
Mm-hmm.
And though there are people like this, you know what I mean? But they really do want to be there.
Yeah.
They're
I
there
mean,
for a reason.
yeah, that chick, the bartender, she was great. I really liked her segment just because she pretty much dropped some knowledge. It's just it's all these facades that people are playing. When you're at the club, like nothing seems to me, at least the club never seems genuine. It's not a genuine place, right? Like it's this kind of escape from everything. People looking for a little bit of attention in a short period of time. You got that girl who has I guess it was either married or had a boyfriend at the end, who's talking to Paperboy and pretty much said to him the truth. It's like, you came here to party, drink, and hang out with cute girls. You got what you wanted. What else are you looking for here? Like, you looking for love? Like, you wanted to hang out after this? Like, you got what you should have expected coming
Oh,
here.
motherfucker, he wanted a nightcap. What you mean? The night ain't over yet. The club night ain't over until you wake up the next morning and realize the mistakes that you made.
Yeah. Let's be real. For the majority of club goers, that's not how the night ends. Let's be real. Let's be honest. Not everyone's going home hooking up with someone.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah,
you go in with these like expectations of that. It doesn't happen to it does happen to a decent amount of people, but it doesn't happen to every. Huh?
Scrubs.
Hit Scrubs. Um,
You're
now,
good.
it was. I thought that episode was great because it was very real. It's a very honest take on what clubbing is. You
Sure.
take the episode before that, it's essentially a parody of BET,
Oh my
and
God, it was so good.
and
It was so
well,
good.
there's a couple different layers, right? There's a parody of BET and calling it ban, right? So it's outright taking a shot at BET, essentially ban it. We don't need black, entertainment like this because it's not true. Then you
Sure.
go into the next layer of, when we start talking about these perceptions of minorities towards other groups of people and trying to find equality amongst them. When in reality, I think Paperboy had one of the most realist lines in saying that I don't really care about their struggle because no one cares about my struggle. You
Oh
know what I'm
yeah,
saying?
yeah, yeah.
I wanted to let you talk because I feel like I've been rambling for a bit.
No, 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 no. I mean, I remember that. It's just as soon as you mentioned the parody episode, all I can think of is that motherfucking man, that transracial, transphobic, homophobic white man in a black man's body. Like
I'm a 35-year-old white man.
that's all I can think about, man. What the fuck? Yeah,
What
yeah,
IPAs do you have on tap?
yeah. I mean,
Greatest. I think that was probably one of the funniest lines.
oh my God. Officer, I've never seen that man here. It was I called him.
I called them.
No, I can't. I can't. I can't.
That episode was so good, man. Just little things that you can kind of relate to, like that Arizona tea commercial. To me, that was. It's not like a social It's not smart in the sense that it's social satire. It's smart in that like it's something that like people just don't ever pick up on. Like you go to a bodega, yeah, someone's selling you a can of Arizona for $1.50 when in reality it's 99 cents.
See, and all these things like that, right? That right there, and the Swisher Sweets commercials, right?
Mm-hmm.
All those things, like those are our inner city culture, not necessarily black culture. You know what I mean?
True,
Like if you
true.
are from the inner city, you know what they're getting at. You get it, and you not only understand it because anybody can. Oh yeah, I know what they're saying, but like you can relate to having an experience that was similar to this. You know?
Oh yeah,
Swisher Sweets, everybody's talking about how smooth they are. Oh no, none of these motherfuckers smoking Swisher Sweets with the
no,
tobacco in it.
no,
Right?
exactly,
And
exactly.
then at
We
the
all.
end it's like, oh, and now just just the roll, like no fucking thing inside. You know? And at one point, I forget what episode it was, but they were like, "Oh yeah, that dude's been in here," because they were looking for somebody, and he was like, "Yeah, he was weird because he was smoking a Swisher Sweet with the tobacco in it." Like, what the fuck? That dude stood out like a sore fucking thumb. What the fuck was that about? That's like watching some dude. Like to me, that was like seeing some dude smoking a Black and Mild with tobacco. You're like, motherfucker, what the fuck are you up to? Why the fuck you smoking that shit? That shit's poison to your fucking life.
Yo, Black and Mild smell nice until like they've been sitting in a car for like a day.
Or even worse, when you see somebody smoke a backwood, you're like, yeah,
Oh,
what the fuck?
what happened?
Yeah, no shit, right?
What happened to you that this is better?
Jesus Christ, man.
Yeah, but man, that episode was just funny because you take Paperboy, like I guess kind of bringing it back, right? Like you take Paperboy, who's pretty much telling this lady, right? Look, I don't really care about Caitlyn Jenner. Not that I don't really like. He really has
Oh,
no
yeah,
opinion,
yeah.
but he's like, no one cares about me, so why should I care about her?
Right.
And then they try, then they have pretty much. God, I wish I
What
knew
did
what
the
the
black dude
transracial
say?
kid.
What did the host say at the end when he was getting pissed that they were actually getting along? He's like, "You hate white people" or some shit like
Oh yeah,
that.
he got his Don Lemon on. He's trying to
Yo,
just
he
it's
did.
the
He got his
yo.
Uncle Tom on. Oh
Damn, you just
shit.
call Don Lemon and Uncle Tom.
He's a fucking Uncle Tom.
Oh shit. Bang
Hot
bang.
take.
Hot take.
Uncle Tom ass motherfucker.
So
He's
I
voting for
thought,
Trump, by the way.
oh shit. Um then you take like the transracial guy and he doesn't care. Like he is literally the personification of what what Paperboy was saying, right? That people are interested in their own plight, but
Right.
more of the times than not, don't care about the plight of others. If anything, they may even have a negative perspective
Word.
on
Word.
that plight because of the fact that, either been treated poorly or they just hate them. So it
Yeah,
was
yeah.
funny to get, like, to have him be put in a position where they pretty much tell him, you're kind of a bigot for not caring about this, and then him to pretty much tell him, like, y'all don't care about my shit, and then they try and use this this transracial guy as a point against him, pretty much proving his point.
Who
It
turns
was
out to
great.
be a bigoted motherfucker himself.
It was
Oh
great.
shit. Yo, and people say black people can't be racist, but he wasn't black. He was a white man.
He was
You
a white
see that,
man.
right?
He was a white man.
He
Yep.
was a white man. Oh my god. That was amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that show is gonna do a lot. My only fear is that I feel like Donald Glover, I wouldn't say he jumps around a lot, but I think he's sometimes indecisive in terms of where he wants to take his career. Because he did the writing thing for a while, he was good at it, wanted to move on, did the music thing. Then I think he came out and said a few times that he was kind of done with music, and then he was going to focus on the show. Atlanta did the show. Now he's coming back to music. I think he's gonna. He did a concert, Pharaohs, out at Joshua Tree earlier this year. And then I think he's thinking about putting out another album, and then it makes me wonder, like, where does the next season of Atlanta kind of come in, and where is it going to fall? Because FX is pretty loose when it comes to production schedules. Because Louis, are you familiar with the show Louis?
Familiar with it, yes.
They're taking a hiatus. I think it's like another year before it comes back. So they're not pumping out season year after year, right?
They don't
So
want to have a Chappelle situation. You know what I mean?
but it's not just with him. This is with all their shows.
Yeah.
So I'm curious to see when he's gonna come back for season 2.
Maybe a lot of their shows, but American Horror Story is on point every year, same time, man. That's their bread and butter. American Horror Story is FX's bread and butter.
Butter.
So, by the way, that's another show that I watch like every time it comes on. Love that show. But Donald Glover, man, like there are a few people who I would put in kind of like artist. Like this guy, this person is an artist. That guy, he has so many talents, he doesn't know what to do with himself. He really does. He has a knack for so many things that it feels like he just needs to get them out, and he needs to express these things when he feels like expressing them. I I don't know if there will be another season. Like, well, obviously there will, but if there'll be another one after that, if it'll be on time, I really don't care, because I think this season is going to end, and if this is the last season of, like, the first season is the only season, then it's going to feel like a complete thing anyways. You know what I mean? It's going to feel like a completed project.
I
Not
hope
like it
so.
needs to be continued, which is great. You know what I mean? Like, it's just another thing that he did that he was really good at doing,
But I would be bothered if this story, Atlanta, was a story that really didn't go anywhere. Because
Okay.
he's so good. He's so good at storytelling. Like, if you had listened to his album Because the Internet and read there was a play. There was a play that he wrote that you're supposed to read, and then at certain points it would tell you to listen to a particular song, and based on that song there are certain things that kind of tied into that larger narrative he was trying to. So if you listen to the album on its own, it really doesn't make any fucking sense. Like, that album, it's I mean, I like it, but it's just like, okay, this is odd, this is all weird. But then when you read it along with the play, it's like, whoa, okay, this makes sense. There's this huge other narrative. And then you take on top of that the fact that when he was out doing interviews, he was the kid in that album in every single one of his interviews. He was speaking like the kid. His responses were in the perspective of the kid. Like, there's this huge story that's being told through multiple mediums. And for Atlanta to just be the show where it kind of starts, doesn't really go anywhere in terms of the giant overarching kind of narrative of Paperboy getting paid, right, and all of the whole crew getting paid. If it just kind of comes and goes and it's just these individual like episodes, I would be disappointed. I actually would be disappointed.
You are invested, my friend.
In what? In him or in general?
in the show.
I'm invested in the show because I think it's a good show. I haven't had too many shows where, or I haven't seen too many shows where I'm I'm genuinely as intrigued as I am now. I mean, we've talked about a few,
Yeah.
right? I
No,
know.
and this is why I like doing this when we do these things, because like we literally have two different approaches to things. Like you're a lot more invested in this than I am. I enjoy it, but like I said, at face value. And you enjoy it for what you know of him and what he can do with the project, and you want to see it go there to that level. You know what
Oh
I
yeah,
mean?
definitely.
And I understand it completely. But like I'm excited. Like I didn't know there was another season coming up. I'm pumped. Anything going on now is with him is good. Like I enjoy seeing him, and whenever he's not on TV, I'm looking for where the fuck did Troy go? Because he will always be Troy to me.
Where did Troy go?
Where did Troy go?
I'll tell you where he didn't go though. Westworld.
Oh, segue.
Let's do it.
Ooh.
So
We don't want to do big reggaeton horns because fucks with the mics.
yeah,
So
they just reverberates back and forth. Ugh, that was rough. That was rough. We'll edit that out. Edit that out in post. Um, Westworld.
So what I
So
want to do from like this point right here is I'm just
go
gonna
for it.
put a stopwatch on my thing, right? Because we're talking like 4 episodes, and I don't know. I figured in the little subject line or in the description line, we kind of put like time markers on the episodes because this stuff can get kind of confusing. Like if we go jumping around episode to episode.
Okay.
All right, so we'll start that now, and I don't know, man. Like I told you to watch a show because I saw it.
Hmm.
Like going from episode one, right? What what do you think?
Starting just with episode one or after 4 episodes?
Oh no, we're going episode one. Like
Oh man, I watched these so close to. Remember, I watched them back to back, so I don't
yeah,
remember where
yeah.
episode one started and where episode one ended.
Okay,
I
I'll
just
place
know.
you. I can place you. That's
Okay.
fine. So episode one, and for me, here I'll kind of go on with it from my impressions of episode one and see how you feel on it. Like the first thing that stood out to me, episode one, was the intro itself. Okay, the intro is like it's like expressing sort of like this mechanicalism that like a watch, the way the gears on a watch go, how everything has a purpose and everything is going to the same purpose. Everything is creating a world, right? Like all the gears in a clock make the hands tick, right? And in this intro, we see a piano. What are these? What are these pianos called? They're called pianolas or something. Pianolas, I think it is pianolas. And basically, they have a metallic roll inside that has dents in it that create the music that it plays, right? That, like to me, is literally the show. It explains to you how you're supposed to perceive the show. Like it's all working like clockwork. Um, everything is programmed. Everything is programmed to do a certain thing to from beginning to end. And that's the first place where I saw that. Like Westworld, for those who don't know, was originally a movie. This show was created from a movie by the same name that came out over 40 something years ago, I believe. And it takes place in I guess a future world, right? Like I don't know where exactly it takes place. We'll get into that afterwards, but it takes place in the future at some point. And this is a amusement park of sorts. Westworld is an amusement park where everyone inside of it that operates, that controls it, like that's moving around, is a what do they call them? A host. And the hosts are basically androids with narratives and storylines that you can interact with, and you go in there and you live out this fantasy world. For example, Red Dead Redemption. Shout out because Red Dead Redemption 2 is coming out in 1 year, and I'm too excited for that. Yeah, so that's kind of the gist of Westworld. But when you really get down to like the meat and potatoes of it, like it gets deep, bro. Like I wasn't that invested in the show episode one, but as I moved along, I'm like, I'm like clinging to every word that they use or everything that they say because it could all mean something or it could all mean nothing. You know, like this is one of those shows where I just speculate about everything. First thing we see is Dolores, right? Dolores is like sitting on on a chair, and she's being spoken to by one of the engineers that works in like the corporate offices. You know that kind of controls all these programmed androids. These not just androids, they're hosts. They call them hosts, and there's like a fly crawling around her face, and she's completely unaffected by it. She just stands there and lets it happen, which is kind of telling the audience like these things aren't human, you know. Um, I don't know, man. The story really it's repetitive on purpose. The first thing we see is Dolores waking up, and like I believe Dolores is waking up like she does every single morning, and we meet the another character by the name of Teddy, and Teddy is like her love interest in this episode, and they have a relationship. They've known each other in the past, and I don't know about you, like when you met Teddy, when you saw Teddy when he picked up the can that fell when she was at the hole. By the way, spoiler heavy, like really, really spoiler heavy here, in case nobody's noticed yet. This is kind of spoiler heavy. Just saying. Um, he drops the can on the ground. He picks it up and all that. It leads to them having a conversation on a hillside, and it leads them to go to her house. He rides home with her, and
Didn't it happen in the city? She drops the can.
yeah, yeah, and then
Okay.
they go out to a hillside, and then
Hmm.
from there they continue on. He rides with her home to her home, and they get there, and her father is on the floor being killed by a bandit or a posse. His mother was killed inside, and he's like being raped, and well, she gets attacked by this man who we only know as the Man in Black, and Teddy's killed by him. I'm kind of zooming through this because what happened when Teddy died? Did you already assume that he was an android, or did you think he was human at all?
I assumed he was an android.
You assumed he was an android. You know, I was reading something that said that they were keeping this whole beginning segment really hush hush because this was supposed to be a big surprise to everyone that he was an android.
Oh, really? No, I think it. I think
It
it was.
didn't it
It
didn't give
just
that
seemed.
feeling off at all.
I got the feeling that he was an android just based on how it seemed perfect.
Yeah.
Their interactions seemed perfect. So from playing video games and you watch NPCs interact with each other, it's perfect. I
Oh
don't
yeah.
know. It seemed too like, oh, the stars aligned and these two lovers met. Like, I'm like, this doesn't seem like that's what this show is going to be about. So when I saw, the can dropped and he walked over and picked it up, and I know this technically happens later on with someone else, but just I felt like in that moment, I was like, yeah, this seems too like scripted. Like this is too like I'm reading like a flowery novel. It's like, oh, the lovers met when she dropped the can, and he came over and handed it to her.
Sure. No, I get exactly what you mean because that's how I felt. It just I I never felt as though I was supposed to believe that he was human. Never felt that way. And it was kind of like, oh, okay, well, whatever, like I saw that happening and cool. So from there, this is still episode 1. We see that happen. We meet a lot of people actually. Like
Can I
we
can I pause
it's
you right there?
yeah,
And I want to go on a huge tangent with you real quick.
okay.
Can you explain one thing to me? Because this is really the only thing that's really bothering me about this show is I guess what I'm about to speak to, and it's just because I don't get it, and I probably feel really stupid once you explain it to me.
I probably don't get it either, so don't feel too bad now.
So from a timeline perspective, right? So Dolores has been killed a few times,
You have the
right?
same question I do. Oh shit. Yeah.
But there's one storyline, but she dies multiple times
Every day.
every day.
Every single day.
In Westworld, like, is it like your own world per payment? Like, is the Man in Black in one, and then oh shoot, I forget what's his name. He's the guy from It's Always Sunny, which I can't get like out of my head, to be honest with you.
It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, the what's his face? He plays.
What does he play?
Who does he
What
play?
does he do on the show? What does he do?
He's one of the McPoyles.
One of the McBoyles?
McPoyles in It's Always Sunny.
No. I mean in this show in Westworld.
Oh,
what does he do?
he's the guy who's gonna marry the guy's sister. They're the ones who run into Dolores out in the woods.
Oh, his name is William in the show.
William. Okay, so William. Yes, Jimmy Simpson, I think is his actual. I know his like his actor
Jimmy
name.
Simpson, yes.
Yeah. So, shit, I completely forgot. Oh yeah. So is William in one Westworld, and then the Man in Black is in another Westworld, or like how does that work? Because it seems like it's very odd how things get layered, right? Like if someone dies, like they're back the next day, but that would be weird because it'd kill the immersion. But then you can clearly tell that people
we're
do spend the night.
There. Yeah, we're gonna get there, but we haven't met William yet. William's in like episode 2.
I know, I guess, but it's just I wanted to understand like how I just from a timeline. Is there no like set timeline, or is this maybe one of the big reveals later on?
Okay, so for me, I had a feeling that I was watching things happening in different timelines. I had this feeling because of how Dolores, like you were saying, Dolores dies every single day. Dolores, her narrative, her storyline resets every single day. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And yet we see other people out there, other hosts, whose stories go on for weeks at a time, such as Hector. Hector, I believe we in episode, well, it might be episode 2, but I kind of want to get this out now then. Hector has a 2-week cycle or so where he is somewhere, and we'll get into that later, and then he ends up here, and his narrative ends in this massive clash in the town where it ends the way that the guests decide for it to end. You know what I mean? Because it's made for your enjoyment. It's made for you to turn it into your own story. But with that being said, so if I'm a host who has a narrative or a storyline that goes on for 4, 5, 6 days or 2 weeks, and I see fucking Dolores coming around every single damn day doing the same shit, I'd be
Dolores
like,
fucking crazy.
hey, that girl's
There's something wrong with her.
A guest comes by and he's like, hey, what's wrong with that girl? Didn't she do the same shit yesterday? They're like, yo, don't ask, man. Don't ask. Don't get involved in that storyline. You don't want to know where it goes. That bitch is nuts. Yeah, man. I felt as though it was going on at different times, especially with every time that the engineers, I'm gonna call them the engineers, because I don't really know their exact roles and their jobs.
I think engineers is fair.
The amount of times that they interfere and how involved they actually are in removing these androids every single day, or at least the ones that get damaged or hurt or shot or stabbed.
All of them.
It's like all of them every single damn day, and they gotta do this every day. But anyways, like I don't know anymore. I don't know how it logistically works.
I know how it works. I have a hot take.
One Westworld.
I have a hot take, and I don't want to spoil it or drop this hottest of takes until we get through episode 4.
Okay. Yep, because I got to pee myself. So, moving on from there, we meet my man, Cat, Bernard Lowe. Bernard, who is played by Jeffrey Wright. Jeffrey Wright's like the lead engineer, okay? And
Bernard Lowe is the lead engineer.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, sorry. Yeah, Bernard Lowe is the lead engineer, and he's a pretty interesting character himself, man. Like this whole scene that took place, like there at face value, there really wasn't much going on, but it goes deeper later on, and it kind of. So I've gone back and I've watched over and over and over, and like several episodes, and caught different things that they said that I didn't catch the first time. But it's crazy. Like some things, this is what happens to me, man. Like I'll take some things at face value, and then later on be like, oh, wait, that means something else completely. I got to keep that in mind. Um, but we also end up meeting another engineer, this chick, and she's kind of like her story isn't that interesting. There are a lot of characters. There are so many characters. This is like Game of Thrones all over again. The first two episodes you just spent introducing people. Yeah, you're just gonna do that. And I completely glossed over the Man in Black being Ed Harris, who is amazing.
My dude.
Right?
He's
Right?
so good. Well, technically he's so bad, but yeah, go on.
But that's fine too. We end up meeting Teresa Cullen, which is basically like upper management for this facility. Teresa is
She's the
like,
one who's smashing Bernard, right?
yeah, he's tapping that. And we meet the security dude, you know what I mean? Big. Oh, you know that he's Hemsworth? He's the lesser Hemsworth.
Yes, he's the lesser Hemsworth. Luke Hemsworth.
Yeah, he's the lesser Hemsworth. You have the lesser Hemsworth, the greater Hemsworth, and Thor. That's basically like how they say it. But I think the
Ashley
lesser
Stubbs.
Hemsworth is actually the oldest.
I have no idea. I
Yeah,
don't know very much about the Hemsworths, but I know
yeah.
he does play Ashley Stubbs in the show.
Ashley Stubbs. Yep, that's the dude. And he's just like a douchebag security guy who I really don't like. That leads us to meet uh
Man, you were
Anthony
really giving us a
Hopkins.
synopsis, huh?
Yo, Anthony Hopkins. Well, thing is, like every character, you know what I mean? The whole first thing is every character. Anthony Hopkins is Ford, who is the creator of these androids. And a really cool ass dude because it's Anthony Hopkins and he can't go wrong or do wrong. I don't know what you feel with not Ed Harris because Ed Harris is scary as fuck, but Anthony Hopkins, man, I get like the weirdest vibe from that guy. Like, who's his name is Ford in the show. Yo,
Robert Ford. Dr.
Ford,
Robert Ford.
Ford feels like that guy who seems good-hearted and all that, but like there's a sinister side that's like,
He's got his own agenda.
yo, yeah. And it feels as though everyone has their own agenda, except for like Lesser Hemsworth. Lesser Hemsworth has no agenda. I really don't think so. The guy's like one track mind. But with that being said, that's like most of the characters that actually matter. By the way, um, we see that there is like there are people coming in, like people are coming to the town, and we see the cycle, right? We see the cycle play out where Dolores ends up dropping the can again for like the fucking third or fourth time in the
Stop dropping the
show.
can, Dolores.
Stop
Stop
dropping
dropping
the
the can.
damn can. Every time you do it, something bad happens. And so what were the things that stood out to you the most in the show? Was it rape, milk, and I
Oh,
think
yeah, rape and milk. Yeah, you were watching A Clockwork Orange, like the weekend. I told you about that. I
oh yeah.
told you to watch A Clockwork Orange. That episode with the dude who would like off someone and then pour milk on them. I was like, man, your weekend has really been dictated or really
By
followed
rape
the
and milk.
themes of rape and milk.
And I gotta tell you, man, like the whole concept of this is going off subject a bit. The whole concept of Clockwork Orange and the way everything works and how they changed his system to function a different way. And he was no longer like thinking for himself. He was like a machine, like clockwork. It it resonated when I was watching this show and how all the androids or the hosts are supposed to act. Oh, and like one thing that they made very obvious was that humans would like swat away flies, but the hosts are programmed to not hurt a fly. You know what I mean? Not hurt a thing. So they don't bother swatting away or trying to push away flies.
Except Dolores.
Except Dolores woke.
She woke. Stay woke.
Woke. Stay woke. Stay woke, Dolores. Yo, I, there's so much to digest as far as this show. Like, oh, who was the other character? I mean, we didn't see him in episode 4, but it was the snotty little like game creator. Lee Sizemore is his name in the show. He's Simon Quarterman.
Oh, yes, him.
Yeah.
What about him?
I don't like that guy.
Yeah, I'm not a fan.
Yeah. Yeah. And I mean, not the guy himself, not the actor, but like the character.
Yeah, agreed.
Not cool. Don't like him. He's annoying.
No, I don't.
I don't know. See, episode 1 and 2 felt like they were both the pilot, as far as I'm concerned.
All right, so you want to take us to 3 and 4 very, very quickly?
3 and 4. Well, yeah. What happened in 3? Yo, I mean, so all in all, so I had like Teddy tried to kill the man in black shooting him, right? This is a big thing. Teddy tried to kill the man in black shooting him, and he didn't die. Like he took the bullets, right? And then he shot him back, and Teddy died. So that was huge and confusing because okay, so now we know that the humans can't be shot by the host, right? Right?
Well, they can get slightly injured, but they can't get killed.
They can't be like the bullet won't penetrate them, right?
Yeah, it'll bruise them up.
But obviously there's a real bullet in that gun because it blows through hosts, right?
Yes and no. Yeah, I guess it does blow through hosts. I don't know. Damn, it's interesting.
Well, and what stood out to me was that at one point when the man in black is sitting in like a little town in what I'm gonna call Little New Mexico with the dude before he killed his wife, that dude who was about to get killed or he was about to be hanged.
Lawrence?
Lawrence? Was Lawrence's name?
I think it was Lawrence, yes.
Okay. So when Lawrence was about to be killed, Lawrence, and he took him, he was sitting there with his wife. One of Lawrence's cousins rolled through and shot at the man in black, Ed Harris, and the glass shattered in his hand. So it was a bullet that flew out of there. And we've also seen characters pick up guns that the hosts have and shoot, and it blows through the host. So there are somehow actual bullets that are programmed to not kill like flesh, like real people. However it is that works.
I think it's like a Matrix scenario. You're probably plugged in.
I think it's a like virtual reality.
I think it's all VR, yes, in a sense, or like, yeah. I think it's like that, in a sense.
I feel the same way, kinda, but not.
But this ties into my hot take. It ties into my hot take.
So
not hot cakes, right? Hot take.
I
could go for some hot cakes though.
What's to stop
me from getting hot cakes right now? Us recording.
Yeah, I figured that much. Don't let me stop you. What's to stop a human from stabbing another human?
The virtual reality.
Right. But if that's the case, right? Why are these people, these hosts, being hosed down in a room?
What do you mean? That ties into my shit. Like, I'll let you know. You'll be woken up soon.
Go for it. You
ain't ready for this. You ain't ready for this hot take, this hotness. It's actually not that great of a theory. But I think it'd be funny. It's one of those where like I know this really isn't the case, but what if it was type steals. I mean, we can get to it when we can. Not now if you don't want.
I mean, I don't mind either way.
So what if, right? And this is a hot take, not like seriously, but kind of funny, where Westworld is okay. So this all kind of goes with the idea that Bernard and what's her face, Teresa, they're both hosts. And what happened was, there obviously are hosts in the Westworld simulation, and if they beat the maze, they become conscious, right?
Mm-hmm.
But technically, that scenario that they're actually in, like that, those labs, is another Westworld created by Dr. Rob Ford. Because he can't work with actual other people, so he works with people that he can actually control.
Do you know where there's an example of this?
Where there is an example of this?
Where there is an example of this, yes.
Do you have an example of this?
I do.
Go for it.
All right. Well, if you remember in episode 2 when we're introduced to William and his brother-in-law,
Yes.
we are introduced also to another host who happens to work at the facility before people enter Westworld. He goes by the name of Clementine Pennyfeather. This person also, by the way, her name is Angela Sarafian, and she was Elon Musk's ex, by the way, FYI, in case you didn't know. Yeah. So I butchered that. Actually, that's not her. That's
I was gonna say
the
that's
prostitute.
not her. That's the hooker. Yeah, that's the prostitute. I mean,
what's that chick's name, man? Fuck.
Wasn't it just Vivian Taylor?
No, Tallulah Riley.
Is it Tallulah Riley?
Tallulah Riley is the actress. Her name was Angela.
Yes. Yes.
So Angela, right, was there, and she was like, when he asked her, "Are you one of them?" And he says, "Well, if you can't tell, does it really matter?" Right? So we're introduced to her, who obviously knows that she is a android, a host. And then later on, when Maeve the prostitute, the head cheerleader prostitute, the kind of manager, when she
head cheerleader prostitute,
she starts having these flashbacks. And in one of the flashbacks, I believe it was a situation, but what's her name? Angela, the chick who was the host at the facility, was in a flashback, and she was working at Westworld. She was one of the people that was in Westworld. And now we see her in the corporate setting. Woke. Yeah. And she woke.
Yeah. Honestly, I mean, as much as I said it's not serious, I mean, it could be a thing. Like, based on what we've experienced so far through the show, that'd be an interesting concept where you have these, like, layers, right? And oh, man, I'd love for, like, when the Man in Black finds out that that's what the maze leads to, it's just kind of just, like, all for nothing.
My theory of the maze is literally, I believe what you're trying to say, where if you get past the maze and you're woke enough to actually get out of this world that is make-believe, that Ford actually puts you to work in this other make-believe world. We're going to call it corporate world.
Yes.
Right?
Corporate world.
Yeah, corporate world.
Yes.
Oh, in case you didn't know, I don't know if you knew or not, but I've read a bunch of stuff on Westworld.
Yeah, there's other locations.
Yep. Roman world, there's
Pirate world.
I guess. I don't know about that one. I know about Roman world. And medieval world and stuff like that, like Skyrim.
Yep.
So, I mean, it goes deep. It goes fucking deep, man. Does Ford run all of these facilities? You know, because he's obviously the creator.
I don't know. But
yeah.
I don't know. One of the things to me that stood out was when they started talking about the idea of giving people a past, right? Mm-hmm. To justify their future actions. Or just kind of how their manner of being, right? Yeah. And I think Bernard is the perfect example of that as a host.
Bernard has secrets, bro.
Bernard has secrets, but I think there comes a point where I think Bernard isn't. He's woke.
Bernard's waking up again, like
kind of thing. Where like his kid isn't real. I guarantee you, his kid isn't real. Wife. Neither is why. Yeah, I feel like this is just another elaborate, just chess game that Dr. Rob Ford.
we're just gonna fucking skip around now because now I want to get into it.
Yeah, fuck it.
Like
Fuck you. Watch the show if you actually want to get like a synopsis.
episode 4, when at the very beginning he starts talking to Dolores, and Dolores goes on to repeat what he said to his wife on the phone. When he was speaking to his wife, she was like, "Oh, I don't know if these conversations about our dead son help or hurt." And he says, "This pain is all that I have left of him," right?
Yep. Mm-hmm.
This is exactly what Dolores says. And he's like, "Wait, hold up.
Where'd
Why
you
did
get
you
that?
say that? Is that programmed?" And she said, "In part. The other part is something, a book about love that she's read."
Mm-hmm.
So, dude, as soon as I heard that, I'm like, yo, you're all fucking hosts. You don't even know it. You ain't even know it. You're all fucking hosts. Stay woke.
Stay woke. Stay woke.
Yo, yo, and not only that, but when, god damn, yo, her name, like the corporate chick, the boss lady, general manager lady,
Teresa Cullen.
Teresa Cullen.
I think that's
Teresa Cullen, when she's sitting with Ford at the table where supposedly she sat with her parents when she came here as a child, and he somehow knew this because they keep great tabs on their guests. Bullshit, bro.
and employees. He said guests and employees.
Guests and employees. He wrote that shit. He wrote it. That
Yeah.
story he gave her. Yeah, nope, nope. Yo, Ford is sinister. That dude is
Yeah,
scary, man.
but to what end, right? Like that's my thing. Is like, why would there need to be another world inside of a world, right? Is it that he just got bored of Westworld? Like Westworld was too, I don't know,
Ooh,
too disconnected from reality, and I feel like maybe he needs the Westworld corporate to keep himself grounded, so he doesn't end up
yo,
like Arnold.
yo. What if there is yo hot take. Yo, what if Ford is
He's a
like
host.
the last? Nope. What if Ford? Okay, first of all, I don't even think this shit's on Earth. I think this is another planet altogether. Okay.
All
First of
right,
all, I
all
think
right.
this is another planet, and because at one point they were talking about rotating home, okay, and they can't speak to their relatives because apparently it's difficult, and they all had to go into this calm room in order to be able to do it, right? Um, this shit is on another planet, as far as I can tell. Hot take, another planet. Um, this planet is completely populated by androids. Ford is the only human on there, apart from the guest. Yo, I don't know. I don't know. But this dude, this whole world is run by guests, and they're his own little personal slaves. But not guests, by hosts. They're his own little
Mm-hmm.
personal slaves. He can make them do whatever the hell he wants. There is no corporate. There's none of that. All that he does, he understands. Ford understands that he cannot control their thoughts. They're going to develop thoughts because of the programming that has been set in place. And what he can do is damage control, right? Because we see that Maeve has already woken up before. She's already seen the guys who come to clean her up, and she's taken the picture of them. She's made a thing and put it under her hardwood flooring, and then forgot about it. You know what I mean?
I,
It's
I
like
wouldn't I wouldn't go as far as to say that Rob Ford doesn't have control. I don't know. I feel like he still has control.
no. Yeah, he has. No, I'm not saying he doesn't have control. I'm saying that there are things that you cannot control and only deal with after the fact.
Oh, okay, yeah. I could see that. I could definitely see that. I don't know if I'd go as far as you did. I kind of look at it more so from the perspective of with any rational human, when you're if it was just him and he's dealing with these I don't know. Actually, you know what? Ignore what I was about to say because it made no sense.
I'm
I
afraid. I'm afraid that he. Okay, so I don't want it to be sloppy writing. Okay, so in episode 1, we see him down in like the basement of this underground lair that he has that he runs with his minions because he's the only human, and he's down there talking to one of the original bartenders, right? And he's treating them very human like, you know, like like the guy can have a real conversation and feel a connection, right? And later in episode 2 or 3, we see him cut open the face of a host because the guy who was working on him covered him. He's like, "What are you covering his modesty? Like this ain't human. He feels what we want him to feel. And he cuts his face and we buck 50s him." like, like, is this just sloppy writing, or is there a bigger picture? What is going on? Who the fuck is Arnold?
Arnold is a drink. Arnold Palmer.
Arnold Palmer. We're talking about
Yes.
Arnold Palmer. Arnold Palmer. Yo,
Yep.
who the fuck is Arnold? It,
I think Arnold was real. Honestly, I think Arnold was real. For me, I would say, I think that might be the only thing that's truly you take at face value. It was this guy who had a very similar vision, got caught in too deep, and then realized that having this connection to these synthetic humans ultimately resulted in his demise, right? And I think at a certain point, like Westworld corporate is kind of the control that Rob Ford has put on himself or put himself in to make sure that he doesn't alienate, right? Those hosts are written in a way where they're gonna act like humans that try and like regular humans. They try and be deceptive or go behind his back or be secretive. Like at a certain point, I think he wants to be out, not be in full control. Like Westworld is what he can control. He is God, but then at a certain point, there's just kind of a reality he wants to protect himself in because of all that power. So he doesn't go crazy like Arnold, and then doesn't end up whatever, right?
Okay.
Like blowing his brains out or whatever happened to Arnold.
Well, he died in the park somehow. Somehow he died in the park, and that's a mystery to us. I mean, everything's a mystery to us about that guy.
Yeah.
But in the flashback, another thing was we saw that the androids originally had like a robot skeleton underneath, you know, and they had like a flesh overlay. They're not like that anymore. That's how far they've come, you know, like they were literally made of some material inside, like a plastic, you know, robotic thing, and they have turned into what they are now, like flesh and bone. Which begs the question, what the fuck is Dolores? Because Dolores was apparently one of the oldest in the park. She's over 30 years old. So what did they do? Did they just keep her consciousness and transfer it over to this body? Because that's another thing. They don't just create another body, they repair the body of the host that gets damaged in whatever way. They repair it, they dip it in the milk stuff, and pull it out and let it dry. You gotta let it sit for 3 to 4 hours and then throw it back.
Yeah, I have no idea. I don't really know exactly what she is.
Yo, what's to stop a human from stabbing another human? I don't think this is virtual reality. I thought that at one point, but it just doesn't sit well for me to be virtual reality. It just feels too easy.
Well, I mean, I think that the hosts themselves are real. It may not be. I think it's like you get plugged in, and then they create like another host that is resilient to all bullets and stuff. Almost, I think that at the end of the day, that like every. I mean, here's a crazy hot take. What if everyone you see in Westworld was someone who's visited Westworld in the past? And like they have this giant data archive of that stuff. So it's like, for example, I mean, they may make some tweaks and stuff, but it's like, take for example, like if you go to Westworld, I pay them the money, I get plugged in. Once I'm plugged in, they make a host-ish one for me, a copy of me that interacts in this actual Westworld, right? Because to your point, right? They actually they are pulling your body out and stuff, right? They're pulling out these bodies that have been, slaughtered and maimed and crushed and all this shit. But they make a copy, and they keep that copy until, like 50 years down the road or 60 years down the road when they project you're dead. So
I'm
there's
sorry.
never.
What movie was this, dude? I'm sorry. This was done already, though.
Was
It
it?
can't be. Yeah, it was an Arnold Schwarzenegger movie
Oh.
where they create a clone of you,
Mm-hmm.
and the clone is it spawns somewhere else wherever you want to be, and you can be whoever you want to be at that place or whatever, but it only retains a certain memory. Oh shit, this is gonna bother me so much because I can't remember. I don't feel like it can be that because it's been done. Oh, you know where that was actually done? Dark Matters. I believe that's the name of the show. It was a sci-fi show, Dark
Mm-hmm.
Matters, and it was like space type of deal. I don't think it was too recent. That was like last year. I was just watching this TV show. It
Oh,
was
okay.
filmed in
Then.
Canada, but like it's just too close to that. And the other thing with being plugged in, I just don't feel like they want to be so associated with something like as soon as you say plugged in, everybody says okay, like the Matrix.
Yeah, but I mean, unfortunately, that may be the case, but it's not the only place where you see people getting plugged in.
Well, the other thing is, Jump, that at one point we see corporate lady, name please.
Teresa.
Teresa up on the very top of this plateau, looking over Westworld. And the games master, Lee Sizemore, walks up to her to have this conversation. And we see them looking at Westworld. And it's not on this map, it's like up there, like really looking at it, you know? I don't know, man. I don't know. I don't think it's virtual reality.
Okay, I guess maybe
don't.
it's not virtual reality.
No. I'm sorry. You're right. Not virtual
Yeah,
reality, but like a clone of you being put into this world.
I mean, how else do you explain someone's resilience to bullets? Like, there's no other plausible way. If they're actually going there, to your point, there's actual bullets flying around.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Unless the bullets are smart enough to know that this is a host, and like I feel like that's more convoluted than my explanation. Because
Well,
usually the simplest
okay, so
answer
it
is
was
right.
actually stated by the Nolan brothers or one of the people that works there. It was stated that the bullets somehow sense heat, like human heat, and do not harm humans. This was stated by them.
I don't like that.
Yeah, I know.
I don't like that at all. Like, I think that's such a weak cop out.
Yeah, yeah, I know.
Well, that goes my theory. Right out the window. Hold up. So in episode 4's intro, they changed the part with the horse, right? Like before, there wasn't someone riding that horse.
Right, right.
Who is that?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
Because
Oh, we also know that
she's
every
different,
single
right? And she's
creature
in
on the
black.
world.
She's in black, which goes against the whole white and pure color scheme that they got going on. She's almost kind of like an apocalyptic figure. I immediately started thinking of, because it's like when you think of like apocalypse in the Bible, right? It's the horses are rotting flesh, right?
Yeah.
Like just yeah. So I see a horse that's essentially incomplete, so I closest thing to rotting flesh, and this dark figure, hooded or not hooded, but wearing a cover on her face, riding. I immediately got apocalyptic.
Pestilence.
Huh?
Pestilence.
Yeah.
I mean, there seem to be a lot of biblical references in the show.
God. They say God.
Oh, God.
There's a church. There's a chapel.
There's a steeple.
Oh, steeple, chapel, steeple. People? People in the steeple in the chapel.
Yeah, that thing there. Yo, interesting characters though. Hector. I really like the Hector character, man. Like that real Western bandolero, like Native American or Mexican or something along those lines, like bad guy. He looks like total badass, man.
Hot take. Hector is a host that's woke, but decided to stay.
Nah. Word. No. Ed Harris is a host. Fucking
Yep,
Man in
yep,
Black is
yep,
a
yep.
host as woke.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. It probably is though. I know,
Yo,
but then he can reflect bullets.
them two? Yeah, well, he somehow got like his code changed, so he's not allowed to get shot.
That seems too convoluted.
Eh, hot take.
Hot take. Oh shit, no. He's a fucking host who got woke and then got plugged in. Oh shit.
And there goes every fucking theory ever out the window. It's all turned into some other shit. Yo, Man in Black, right? What foundation saved like this other guest sister's life?
True, right? He was like, I'm on vacation, fuck off, pretty much.
Yo, literally, no, literally, that's what he said. Literally. If you say anything to me again, I'll fucking kill you. I'm on vacation.
I don't know. He's probably a good guy out in the real world, saving babies. He
Right?
wants to be a bad guy. He's probably a good guy, just wants to be a bad guy, and this is where he kind of gets his thrills.
Yo, think about it. What if this technology, right, is used in the real world to save people, like creating organs?
Pretty sure it is because there's money involved in it. There's investments.
Absolutely. Absolutely. What if this dude, that's what he does? Like this is and the first thing that came to me was like this guy's Arnold, right?
Oh my god. Oh my god. All right. So, the Man in Black,
Yep.
right? Right. Okay. 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 I got this. I got this. All right. I got this. I got this. The Man in Black is someone who had a loved one, right? Had a loved one. Something went terribly wrong, like some kind of dementia shit, right? Boom, like
Okay.
Alzheimer's, right? So they made a new brain, right? Follow me on this. Follow me on this. They made a new brain, but it was like some kind of lobotomized shit where like they
Hmm.
took like a host brain, like put into this person, like the memories were starting to overlap. So
Okay.
the Man in Black's old loved one had some memories, but then it had memories of this other like existence that wasn't real. So he goes into Westworld to find the maze to figure out what's going on. No, none of that actually happens. I have no idea who he is.
Listen, I'm about to yo, shut the fuck up. Jesus Christ. Yo, all right. Listen. Follow me on this, okay? Episode 3, at the end. Dolores shoots the the bad guy who was trying to rape her, right?
Yes,
Goes
the
against the
bandit.
program, shoots the guy with his own gun. By the way, okay, before I get there, where did the gun go that she found out in the hay and she put in the drawer?
I don't know because it wasn't there after, right? When she opened the drawer again.
Right, it was not there after. And then we see her getting shoved into the barn and we see the gun in her hand. First thing that goes through my mind is she put it there before and just completely forgot out of her mind because her program's fucking up. But no, because he was literally wearing the gun that she pulled that gun off of him. Okay, so that wasn't the gun that she had in her drawer that disappeared because
Gun in
I,
the
I
Drawer was moved by Robert Ford in an attempt to fuck with Bernard's pet project.
you are the reason that theories are created. You are the reason that theories happen and they're the worst theories ever. And then people believe them. And then they're disappointed because the truth does not suit their fucking theory.
I'm just saying, man, stay woke. Like there's this host who's trying to become Robert Ford, and Robert Ford's like, "Nah, I'm God." Bang.
God. Oh God. Oh Ford. Oh Ford. Oh Ford. Um
No, but seriously, go on.
so Dolores, right? She escapes the barn thing after she has like these memories and she's having these flashbacks because she's woke now, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dolores gets on her horse and rides off into the darkness. Later, running into William and his fucking rapey, shooty little friend. Okay? She faints in his arms. Cut to black. That's episode 3, right?
Yes.
Episode 4 starts off, and Dolores is now talking to Bernard, right? They're having this whole conversation, yada, yada, yada. All these things are happening, blah, blah, blah. Next scene, after the first scene of episode 4, Dolores is in William's arms. Please tell me, okay? Did they break immersion? Were they like, whoa, whoa, pause. Hey, William. Hey, dude. Sorry to do this. We're going to have to pluck Dolores out of here. We're going to have a conversation with her for a few hours. And we'll bring her right back and put her in your arms. And then we'll say, and go. And you continue. What? What actually happened?
I don't know.
What actually took place? I don't understand. How? This is bothering me. Because this is the whole thing where, like, I don't feel like the timelines are correct. They're not accurate. They're not adding up to me.
Rob Ford is a host.
Jesus Christ. I'm done. I'm fucking done.
And all this is just a recollection of all the different timelines that he's been going through.
Word.
Oh man.
Yo, I'm gonna go ahead and ship Hector and Maeve though.
Okay.
That's like Bonnie and Clyde right now. They're about to ride or die, bro. They really are. I swear, it's gonna happen. They're woke now. Yo, that end scene where she's like, none of this matters. They're like, fuck it. You know, I wish they would have just shown them getting shot up. Yeah, and the bitch, she was like, cut me open, fucking pull out a bullet. You're like, oh shit, that's a sloppy cleanup job. Like, what the fuck? You just gonna leave the bullet in her?
Yeah, you're gonna fuck up like that.
After it was already established that they develop human diseases like MRSA, you're gonna leave a fucking bullet in her? It doesn't make sense.
Whoops. Well, I mean, it kind of makes sense where like she escaped, right? So they were probably just trying to put her back somewhere before anyone noticed. So they was probably, I think they were too concerned with her having escaped and trying to cover that up that they completely forgot why they were originally, cleaning her up.
Well, I'll tell you this: having everyone in this fucking world be a host, an android, is cost effective as fuck, bro. Yo, he don't need shit. He just tells them what to do when they go to town. You know what I mean? Like, oh, I just want to destroy this whole land area and I want to turn it into a fucking pool. Just like 1,000 yards that way and 1,000 yards this way. I just want a pool. Go ahead and build that. Like, what the fuck? And at the end of that, when he was talking to corporate lady, that is her name. Was he destroying that building that they were in? Was that his plan? Destroying this sentimental thing of hers?
I don't know. Maybe.
Because he was like, I don't hold any sentimental value to this.
Huh, I guess so.
Oh. And he fucking knows that she and Bernard are fucking.
Because he created the other world.
He made them fuck.
It was all part of his scheme.
Right. Yo, stay woke, dog. Yo, this just goes too deep.
Yeah, what if it's like Arnold created all of this and like Arnold's God?
And Ford is Jesus.
No.
Ford is Jesus.
Ford is just the host. And we're watching the delusions of a host that's failing.
Well, Jesus was the host. He was created in God's image and flesh.
Damn.
Boom. Hot take.
Wow.
Blown. Mind. Done.
All right, let's call it a wrap. All right, we'll end it here.
All right, guys, it's been a good conversation. See you later.
We out.
Nah, but this show, it's got me fucking like, I'm I'm like in its grasp right now.
Yeah.
Between this and American Horror Story and Atlanta, I'm pretty good for now. But we got Walking Dead coming up now. You don't watch Walking Dead. I really haven't either, but I'm kind of intrigued with this season.
No, Negan, why?
No Negan. No Negan. Negan is sick. Negan's awesome.
I know nothing at all. Like, all I know is people are upset about something that should have happened. I don't know. I really don't care about The Walking Dead.
All I know is that Negan is the same actor who played the father in Supernatural. And Supernatural is another show that I fucking love for some reason. And I'm ready to watch it. Because Game of Thrones ain't coming for ages. And I'm pretty upset about it.
I can see that.
Yeah. We are running out of things to watch. And it's going to be very difficult to live the rest of my life until Game of Thrones comes back.
No,
but this is gonna happen.
No,
Westworld is not bad.
I feel like there's gonna be a lot of good shows in the future.
So?
Yeah.
I mean, even if we don't have good shows, we still have South Park and Wreck Uranus. What is it called?
Rick and Morty?
No, South Park.
Fractured Butthole. Oh, okay. That's a video game.
yeah. That's a fucking movie though. That's a movie game. But I think tells an amazing story. There's that. We got fucking games coming out at least. I don't know. How many episodes are left in Westworld? Because
there are 10 total.
Damn, we already watched 4. So I'm assuming next episode is gonna be like a huge reveal. Episode 5 has to have a huge, like turning of the tide. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's like this little alien gets inside the head.
God damn it, I'm done.
Of Robert Ford, right? and he's just a husk for this little alien.
Do you think this shit's on Earth though? Do you think this is Earth?
No, probably not. I mean, I would doubt it is. Right? That's why it costs $40K to do this stuff, because you got to travel out to space.
Hey, $40K is actually pretty cheap for a flight into space.
That's what I'm saying. This is like, I guarantee you Westworld isn't anything like super lavish. It's for rich people, it's the equivalent of going to like a matinee. Like this is what like rich people do when like they're like they're just like I got nothing to do. Let me kill an hour.
Yo, John, what if we're literally just watching like fucking Red Dead Redemption 2 right now? This is all Red Dead. That's what we're watching. And like all you have to do is pan the camera out far enough and you'll see that they're just in a video game. It's just been a video game the whole time.
What if it's like it all took place in a snow globe?
In a snow globe?
Yeah.
Ooh. That's tight. That's tight.
Yeah. Yeah, like the last episode just pans out and there's this little kid in a hospital and it's on a snow globe and it just like pans out and it pans out.
So guys, we're clearly done.
And it pans out and it happens. It just pans out
at 12:30 at night.
Yo, I'm sleepy as fuck.
Yeah. So
episode 19. Westworld in Atlanta. We're out of here, guys. Make sure to check us out on the Twitters. Jay's actually finally tweeting, so check it out. PvE podcast. Share us with your friends, please, guys. Throw us a comment on iTunes or any of the different podcast platforms. We want to hear your feedback. Show us a like. Share our stuff. Reach out to the show. We just want to hear from you guys.
Yeah, guys, reach out.
Reach out. We want your love.
Yeah, I'm twatting now, so I mean.
He is twatting.
I'm in the gang.
He's not very good at it though. You're not very good at tweeting.
I don't know what you're talking about.
You keep forgetting to put the links to our Twitch channel. By the way, we have actually started streaming directly from the PvE podcast Twitch channel as opposed to our respective ones. So please go out there and subscribe. It's PvE podcast on Twitch. We'd like to hear you guys interact. Maybe if we get enough people watching, maybe we'll do some, we'll party up. We'll have you guys join up. We've been playing a lot of Battlefield 1 recently. We'll be playing Titanfall 2 next week. We definitely won't be playing Infinite Warfare. If you see me on Infinite Warfare, something has gone terribly wrong, or I caved in for the Modern Warfare remake, and I'm just a shill.
A shill of a man.
A shill.
Samesies.
But yeah, so check us out on Twitter, PvE Podcast, and check us out on Twitch, PvE Podcast. And until next time, I'm Jumpy, he's Jay, we out. Peace.